Buongiorno, everybody. I will talk about the bold wolves. It's a very hot discussion in countries where wolves come to. So, and as a talk of Petra, it's something like it's preliminary. We didn't discuss it so far within the LCIA. It's kind of a proposal that I present here. As you saw, wolves are coming back to many places of Europe where they have disappeared before. And in these places, in these countries, regions, they are not familiar with wolves. There's a lot of uncertainty among the public and among authorities what to expect from wolves. About when it comes to wolf behavior, many people are very uncertain. Is it kind of normal? Is it might it become dangerous for people's safety? So there's, if they return to areas, where people are not used to, it's often the expectation, what people think, how wolves behave, does not match how wolves really behave. And a colleague of us put it in this very nice words, where situations where humans express fear because of the behavior of wolves can be divided into two types. The first one is situations where wolves really behave, unusually bold, and situations where human expectations of what is normal wolf behavior do not correspond to how wolves normally behave. And the latter one is far more common than the first one. So, like looking in a country like Germany, it's very crowded, there are people everywhere, human structures everywhere. We have a lot of video shootings like that. It's just a screenshot from a video shooting that was taken out of a tractor. And there's a pack of wolves just passing this tractor. And when the driver opened the windows, they stopped because they hear some strange noise and watched back. And such videos are mostly presented as problem wolves, bold wolves, wolves that lose their shy towards people. But from the perspective of a wolf, that is it's just a very noisy box running on this field. And this kind of noisy boxes we have everywhere in cultural landscapes. There are cars, there are tractors, there are harvesters. On military training areas we have tanks. These are quite everywhere. And wild animals living in Europe, they grow up with these noisy boxes. So they don't see persons within these boxes. It's just these boxes that are everywhere, these vehicles. So that's kind of pretty normal. Nobody has to... that doesn't mean needs attention. So what about this? So many of you will say, well, that looks like bold wolves. And it might be that there's a bold wolf, but you're not sure. So if it just happens that a young wolf runs into a city once and then it notices its mistakes and try to find its way out, that's normal as well. And the more the wolves coming are breeding in densely populated areas, the more such situations will occur. A problem might evolve if the same individual comes again and again in a city. Then this behavior, this will need attention. So you have to analyze the situation each time such behavior is reported. The problem behind this is that such different situations are all reported as it is like one individual. It's the wolf that's coming close to houses. Even so, there are 20 different individuals. That happens one to find itself within the villages. So what we certainly need is first, we need definitions. What is bold behavior? And that's what we propose to use, like unique definitions, what we are talking about. There's a lot of mismatch between when it comes to habituation, to conditioning, to what is a bold wolf. So from the behavioral science, it is pretty clear what habituation means. It's a process where an animal gets used to a repeatedly occurring stimulus that has neither a positive or negative effect. It's just something you get used to. So bold wolves have learned that people are not a threat to them. They're just part of their environment. So they get somehow habituated to the presence of humans. What is okay? That is nothing, that's no problem per se, as long as the animals still keep their distance. So, and you might, if you think of national parks, a lot of people going into national parks watching wildlife. And this wildlife, it's just ignoring humans. They have a lower flight distance at most animals and hunted populations, but they are not interested in humans. So this situation, this kind of behavior, that is completely normal. But habituation is an adaptive process, and you can drive this very, very far. And if animals become strongly habituated, that they tolerate the presence of people at very close distance, then you might come in the range that really needs attention, that might be relevant for public safety. So habituation per se, it's just something all animals have in cultivated landscapes, but there's like slight habituation and a very strong habituation, and for the in the frame for human safety, that might make a big difference. So then, if we talk about close encounters, close distance encounters, what do we mean? And we propose to mean a threshold of about 30 meters. That's, of course, arbitrary. One reason is that we know that most wolves will not tolerate people on foot within this distance. And there's another very practical reason behind when it comes to deterrent measures, where I will talk to a little bit later. So it's just, if you want to shoot with rubber bullets on animals, you need to be really close. If you are 50 or 60 meters away, you have no chance to do to really apply deterrent measures, so you need to come pretty close. And with this close distance encounters, it's important to say the wolf has to recognize the human being as human being. If we are sitting in a box, like in a car, the wolf just sees a car and not a people behind. So that's very important for that. So if it comes to positive conditioning, that means that an animal links a positive experience with something, a positive stimulus with something. And mostly, what it's mostly known, it's food conditioning, where an animal links the presence of food to either people, the presence of people, or to presences of people presence like campgrounds, maybe in North America, or backyards or something. That's a kind of positive conditioning. And the opposite is negative conditioning, when an animal links its behavior or the situation it runs into with a negative experience. And the method to achieve negative conditioning, these are deterrent measures. So negative conditioning is not a method per se, that's a goal that we aim to reach, and the method to reach negative conditioning are deterrent measures like shooting with rubber bullets or with firecrackers whatsoever. Okay, and then we come to the so-called bold wolf. What does we mean with a bold wolf? So that is in our definition, a wolf that repeatedly accepts people at very close distance, within 30 meters, people that it recognizes as people again, so people on foot. and or even actively approach people within this distance. That's something that we called bold wolves. That the prerequisite for becoming a bold wolf is that it's strongly habituated and it might be even have positive conditioning. Then we have situations where wolves, as I show in the pictures, are coming close to houses, but there are quite a few of the situations where these animals still keep their distance from people. So if they encounter a people on foot, they still retreat. So that kind of wolves we call wolves tolerant to houses. There might be positive conditioning. Maybe they connect villages or houses with food, but they're not necessarily strongly habituated if they still retreat, if they encounter a people by foot. So wolves living in cultural landscapes today, what does it mean? So we are talking about Europe, where we have no wilderness areas. We have people, at least in Central, Southern Europe, we have people everywhere. Looks like the wrong species, but it's just to make you remind where wild animals live in Europe and where they have to live. This is not wilderness, it's not Siberia, it's just human, and we people are everywhere. And we are very familiar with this kind of pictures. At least in Germany, that's completely normal. If you drive to Germany by car, you will see rodeos almost everywhere. And we are very familiar with this kind of pictures, even though we don't see wild boars as often. We see in the morning that they have been there in the night searching for food, right within villages, within towns, even if you don't see them. And like if you look at this from the wolf's perspective, if you put a sheep there right at the edge of the houses, a non-protected sheep, a wolf will go and kill it. And that's not problematic behavior, it's just normal behavior because it searches for food as every other animal is doing as well. So the problem behind is that many people expect wolves to be non-visible. So, okay, wolves is coming back, but we do not want to see them. So they have to hide somewhere. And that's just not possible. Wolves are living in very large areas, so they have territories of several hundred square kilometers. And talking for many countries of Europe, within every single wolf territory, there are numerous villages, numerous roads, so they have to deal with all these human structures in their environment, and that's what they do. And for like all wild animals in Europe, it's kind of vital to adapt and habituate to a certain amount to the human presence. Otherwise, wild animals could not live in Europe. So, and that's what we see again with wolves. And most wolves, they avoid the direct encounters with people, but they just cannot avoid all our human structures that are just everywhere in the wolf territory. And I think that's something people have to learn to accept, that wolves will be not non-visible in cultural landscapes. So that's the background for the assessment of wolf behavior. So when do we say that wolf behavior might become problematic in respect to human safety, and what is just like kind of normal behavior? At least it's not dangerous and we don't need any actions. So if wolf passes in the dark, if they passes by villages or sometimes passes through villages, just the scattered villages, that is not dangerous, even if wolves are moving during daylight and sighting distance of villages, that does not need any attention. And even if a wolf just stops and does not run immediately away if it sees a person, that is nothing problematic. But there are people that feel like personally offended if a wild animal just does not run away immediately if it encounters a person. So, but it's okay if this animal just first stop before they retreat. But then, of course, in cultural landscapes, we have behaviors that do need attention, and that might be if a wolf is seen again and again very close to houses inside villages. So then activities should be taken, like first analyze the situation, maybe find a reason for that, and consider aversive conditioning. If a wolf allows repeatedly human beings to approach it within very close distance, that needs attention and to be analyzed. And if a wolf approach itself actively, human beings actively approach people at close distance, so then we should do something about it. So of course, always analyze the situation and consider aversive conditioning. And if that is not successful, it might even be at the end that this wolf has to be removed. But what is the reason why wolves become bold or become tolerant to houses? And actually, in many things, we don't know for sure what is the reason behind, but we have an idea. And that is, it has very often to do in today's Europe with that before we have a problematic behavior or behavior that makes become relevant for human safety, we have a strong habituation before, and we have sometimes a positive conditioning before. So that kind of behavior, it doesn't pops out of nowhere. There's a history before where we can see that the behavior like this develops somehow. So one reason might be that what I said, that wolves learned to connect people itself or locations of people presence with food. And of course, wolves that have learned that, they will go then actively search for food. That was a wolf that we had in our area. And when we searched around these villages where these wolves appeared again and again, we searched with a dog if there's something interesting for wolves. And then we found places like this on the right side. And it was an old lady living in the forest, and all what she got delivered as food for herself, she just threw away. And you can imagine that's a nice meal, even for a wolf that it will find on a regular basis. So there are cases where wolves are very interested in just things, like this pup, 6 months old pup, was very interested in technical things, all kind of noisy machines working in the forest. I don't know why, and attractant might be dogs. So there are quite a few cases where wolves were attracted to dogs. In this case, a female wolf somehow fell in love with this dog. And these wolves, they can completely ignore the person besides the dog. But they are not targeting the people, they are targeting the dogs. So in this case, the removal, of course, the temporary removal of the dog may already solve the problem. And then young wolves. Of course, young wolves, like any young animals, like children, young wolves are more curious, they are more naive than adult ones. So that's just normal. But that means that they can more easily, strongly be habituated to the presence of humans, or more easily become positively conditioned. So young wolves in cultural landscape with a lot of people, and not all people behaving as they should. So that poses a threat that these animals become more easily habituated, and no wonder most bold wolves are young wolves. And there's then in discussion if the hunting of wolves prevents wolves from becoming more dangerous towards people. There's a big discussion, it's an issue in Germany all the time. We need to hunt wolves either to protect the sheep, and the other way is to keep them shy. And there are some examples. It happens very, very rarely that wolves attack people. It happens, but it's very rare. In such rare incidences, in the 70s, we had a case in Spain or two, and we had several cases in Alaska and Canada. These were all in hunted populations. And then just looking to other animals that are heavily hunted, wild boars, raccoons are extremely hunted in Germany, and still we have every year, we have quite a number of bold boars and bold raccoons, foxes. So obviously the hunting of the population does not prevent the development of bold behavior. There's something else behind it, and that is just human behavior. And this is, I think, in cultivated landscape, that is the clue. If you have a human misbehavior, then you get a bold animal. And that's what you see here. As I said, it's even in the case above, it's on Usedom. These boars, the same individuals, are tried to be heavily hunted on the one side, and then it's just across the border. They are fed by people, and they know where they can expect what. So bold individuals may occur in every population, if hunted or not, and this is all. It's often the reason behind is the behavior of humans, and that's something we can address too. So, what are our recommendations for the management of bold wolves? The first one, it seems to be simple, but it's not. It's to prevent this. And this is managing people's behavior. So don't approach wolves, don't feed them, otherwise you get a problem. Everybody knows from North America, like the slogan, a fat bear is a dead bear. The same applies for wolves. But this is very hard to get into people, that if you feed a small, cute pup, that is in 6 months, it's a grown wolf that may become bold. So then what is very important to document these cases, we don't have a lot of knowledge about that. That's one reason behind this. These cases are very rare, and the other one is these rare cases are often not well documented. So we need to document these few cases that we have, and we recommend in every of these cases to open a case file where you put in every incident, every sighting, so what, of these animals that are either perceived as bold or are acting really bold. So in this way, we gain knowledge for future analysis how to deal with these animals. And what is important, like if you get these reports from the public of a bold wolf behavior, somebody has to go out in the field and analyze it. Very often, it's not a problematic behavior per se, but still, then even these cases are important for us to learn from. So we should more go in this documentation. And then, if you really have a bold wolf, the first thing you should do is go out and search for attractants. That might be, as I said, might be food or dogs and so on. If this is not successful, either you didn't find any attraction or the removal of the attraction was not altering the behavior of the animals, then you might consider deterrent measures like shooting with rubber bullets. But even on that, we have very, very little knowledge. So we need to document each of these cases to to learn which of these deterrent measures are effective in which situations and which are not. So we have to learn more about it. And if all this is not working out and its behavior still is there, then the final option for authorities would be the removal of the wolf. And what is often forgotten, but it's very important, I think, especially in countries where people are not used to wolves, to inform the public about these cases. First to inform them about the assessment of the behavior, and then what you plan to do and what you have done, so that either way people don't feel left alone, and they have an understanding, for instance, why a wolf has to be shot. Because in some countries people do very offend this option. So finally, there's a lot we still have to learn, and we recommend to do more research on this. The first step would be to accumulate these case files that I talked about, to allow for future analysis, then to, if deterrent measures are used, to document this in a way, again, that we can learn about what is working and what is not working. We need to learn more about the role of personalities, of age, of learning for the development of bold behavior. There are hints that, for instance, in dogs, bold behavior decreases with age. But we don't know, it might be, we don't know yet if this is true for wolves as well. And the last thing, I think it's very important to more closely analyze the effect of hunting versus non-hunting against the effect of how strongly the landscape is used by people. And that might be intermixed with each other. But it's obviously like if wolves come into landscape that are more strongly used by people, they get more in contact with people, and the danger of people misbehaving somehow, it's becoming bigger. So that should be more analyzed into detail, and I will close with this picture. Yeah.
Thank you, Ilka. Questions to the speaker of this morning? Ilka, why don't you come here just in case?
Allora, volevo due domande e una considerazione, se posso. Una cosa che si riallaccia anche all'ultimo intervento, in tutte le valutazioni fatte, per esempio di quello che può essere l'approccio con gli agricoltori, i danni, oppure con i cacciatori, con tutte queste varie categorie che hanno degli interessi che li mette un po' in contrasto con il lupo. Ecco, una cosa che forse è stata meno approfondita, quello del discorso del turismo, della gente comune che magari usa andare in montagna, usa andare in campagna, in collina, dove sia, e può avere, diciamo, così dei problemi nei confronti di questa presenza, e in particolare anche il problema dei cani, nel senso che ultimamente anche qui da noi succede spesso, cioè è successo, insomma, spesso forse no, ma che magari vengono attaccati o anche ammazzati da parte del lupo dei cagnolini o cani che magari sono in passeggiata con il padrone e magari non sono, in questo caso al guinzaglio, o comunque per qualche motivo. Però è successo anche del lupo vicino proprio alle case dove ci sono magari i cani e dove magari non c'è il recinto che delimita la proprietà. E questa è una domanda tecnica. L'altra domanda invece secondo me più importante per quello che mi riguarda, che volevo fare al professor Boitani, è questa. Prima mi ha un po' spaventato quando lei ha dato questa approccio di dire cosa vogliamo. Vogliamo tanti lupi in un posto, vogliamo pochi lupi dappertutto. Allora io mi sono detta, ma questo approccio in cui ancora una volta l'uomo è al centro della decisione su quello che riguarda l'ambiente naturale, è corretto? Cioè possiamo noi decidere come vogliamo i lupi, quanti ne vogliamo, dove li vogliamo mettere, se vogliamo gestirli oppure... e poi un problema è giusto fare questo tipo di approccio, e il secondo problema è veramente nel nostro controllo. Siamo veramente così bravi o così potenti, non so come dire, che siamo in grado di controllare tutto questo. Per esempio, prima si parlava di cambiamenti climatici. Per esempio, un cambiamento climatico potrebbe succedere che non solo non ci fa più vedere le tracce del lupo, ma ci fa anche magari cambiare tutti i nostri progetti o tutti i nostri schemi gestionali che abbiamo in testa. Ultima cosa, invece, una considerazione, questa volta positiva. Mi piacerebbe che questo fatto del lupo sia una scusa per parlare dell'uomo, nel senso, questa problematica del lupo, come è stato prima quella dell'orso, come dovrà essere, spero, in futuro quella delle foreste, alla luce delle anche le nuove normative che si vogliono approvare, ci dovrebbe porre, dovrebbe essere una scusa per una crescita culturale nei confronti dell'ambiente in genere, perché è come se noi creassimo una metodologia, no? Noi adesso ci approcciamo al problema lupo, quindi dobbiamo conoscere, studiare, imparare a gestire, valutare quant'altro. Se questo stesso atteggiamento lo portiamo a una scala più grande, come di crescita culturale, partendo dalle cose che avete detto ieri, l'ascolto prima di tutto, quindi porsi nei confronti delle varie categorie come qualcuno che ascolta i loro problemi e i loro punti di vista, per proporre poi una crescita culturale che vuol dire conoscenza, e dalla conoscenza evidentemente anche un tipo di approccio diverso con il mondo, con l'ambiente in cui viviamo anche noi e che ci circonda. Quindi il lupo è una scusa per, diciamo, entrare in questo ecosistema che condividiamo, ecco, non che dominiamo.
Grazie. Le rispondo subito in maniera molto veloce alla sua domanda a me. Lei sostanzialmente chiede se abbiamo il diritto o i modi di gestire le popolazioni di lupo, e che la domanda forse era retorica. In realtà la conservazione questo fa. Tutta la conservazione è una ricerca di compromesso gestita da noi. Quando decidiamo di fare un parco nazionale, prendiamo un pezzo di terra, ci mettiamo una riga, scriviamo una legge, e quello è, l'abbiamo deciso noi, non l'ha deciso il lupo o l'orso che sta in quel parco nazionale. Quindi si tratta di gestire un compromesso. Compromesso vuol dire che tutte e due le situazioni si fanno un po' stretta per accomodare le esigenze dell'altro, e siccome il lupo non può fare più di tanto, lo facciamo noi per conto suo. L'altra domanda
so the question was about wolves killing dogs. Was it close to humans or close to houses? And that happens in some areas of Europe more often. Fortunately, it's in many areas it doesn't happen. And I didn't mention it because it is in very unwanted behavior, but it has nothing to do with human safety. And I focused in the talk on issues regarding human safety. But this is, of course, we just recently had one case in Germany, and then the authorities took the decision to legally kill this wolf.
Grandi carnivori CAI. C'è un aspetto che non sento proprio mai, o quasi mai, insomma, trattare sotto il profilo dell'interazione lupo-uomo-pericolo, ed è la presenza di una patologia virale gravissima, una zoonosi, quindi trasmissibile dall'uomo agli animali, in Italia eradicata per il momento, ma che con il continuo afflusso, grazie appunto anche alle capacità di dispersione della specie, ma di anche altre specie, perché non è trasmessa solo anche dai carnivori, ma anche da ungulati, e parlo della rabbia. Voglio dire, non sento mai tenere in considerazione questo aspetto dal punto di vista dell'interazione, appunto, e invece secondo me domando se ci sono dati i lupi che vengono trovati morti, vengono sottoposti a necroscopia, se ci sono dati sulla diffusione del virus negli animali morti, nei lupi morti. Grazie.
Chiederei a Ilka di rispondere, perché l'Italia per fortuna non ha rabbia silvestre. You want to answer?
Well, in many places of Europe, rabies is eradicated. So in many places we don't have rabies anymore. in Central Europe, and there are a few countries where we still have rabies, and that might become an issue, but we didn't have like fatal attacks of rabid wolves for, I don't know, since a very long time. So even in the countries where rabies is still present, that it's not a big threat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Altre domande? Questions? Là. Qui davanti.
Sì, una domanda che riguarda l'ibridazione, cioè viene da pensare che l'ibridazione sia più frequente nelle zone di nuova colonizzazione da parte del lupo, mentre si è visto, almeno non so se dipende dal numero degli studi fatti, delle ricerche fatte, si è visto che è più frequente in Appennino e sulle Alpi per il momento non abbiamo visto i puntini rossi, non abbiamo visto, e quindi è una domanda se è più frequente dove il lupo sta arrivando, quindi ha difficoltà di trovare anche la possibilità di accoppiarsi, e quindi se sì, va con i cani o...
Io penso, le rispondo in inglese così capiscono anche loro. Okay? I think that it is certainly a fact that it is more common where in areas where wolf is expanding, but it doesn't really depend on wolf expanding. It depends on the presence of dogs. So it occurs in areas where wolf is expanding if dogs are present, free-ranging dogs. I'm not talking about dogs properly managed, kept as the law prescribes. And secondly, you are right, in the Alps there are only 3 recorded cases of hybrids. The 3 of them actually are animals that came from the Apennines, and Francesca is certainly able to provide more details about it. But apparently there are no hybrids reported in the alpine population. The one that I showed you in the picture, Luce, was actually captured in Liguria region, fitted with a radio collar, and then it's a female. She moved towards Piemonte, but it's sterilized first of all, so she cannot reproduce, and it's very recognizable because of her phenotype. It's very blonde.
I have 2 questions for Dr. Petra Kaczynski. One is, as is normal, different research groups have different methods in taking samples and manage geographical data. When it comes to merge the data from different areas, how is it managed the issue? And the other question, if in your experience, are there any implications on the management and on the policies for management and conservation of the species when 2 neighbor countries have different criteria for defining and manage geographical data? Thank you.
Yeah, this goes a bit to the core of the mapping issues. I said before, if we would live in an ideal world, we wouldn't have these discrepancies. I mean, but we have to live with the realities of the funding, of the capacity, of the environmental condition in the different countries. So the goal is to harmonize it more and more within the population, so that adjacent or neighboring countries use the same field methods as much as possible and as much as can be funded, and also then come up with a harmonized map. We are moving in this direction, but it isn't perfect yet, so there is still a ways to go. As with political consequences, I mean, we still have kind of a certain expert assessment in these maps as well, which is at the stage where we are, where it's so fragmented and different methods is very important. So we have people that have worked for a long time and can also say, well, okay, this change in this area is most likely the result of a change in the method, or a change of the effort, or a change of the funding. So we still depend on that, and that's why it's important to have people that have long-term experience in these countries and with these species. And we probably will always need this on top of strict and evidence-based monitoring.
Thank you. Just time for one last question.
In relation to this innovative project of radio tagging hybrids between wolves and dogs, I was wondering in relation to the ecological rule of hybrids, if you have some results or some evidence if ecologically they are different in movements, in food-related issues, like if they are more dependent of human resource food, and if being so, they can promote much more the conflict with humans.
Thank you. I think Gigi is in the audience and will certainly provide more details. In broad terms, I would say no, there is no much difference from the behavior of these animals. But if you can get the microphone to Gigi Molinari, he's the technician who's following some of the colored animals. C'è qualcuno che dà il microfono a Gigi?
Salta su.
Vieni, salta su. Vieni.
Rispondo in italiano.
Sì.
Allora, è ancora molto presto, credo, per vedere se esistono delle differenze ecologiche tra le due entità. Sarebbe molto lunga la risposta, nel senso che ancora siamo incerti quali sono gli individui da chiamare ibridi e quelli che sono da chiamare puri. Abbiamo avuto nel progetto diversi individui che hanno ruoli diversi all'interno del branco, sia individui alfa che helper, che wandering o dispersal, perciò non abbiamo ancora il numero sufficiente per capire che ecologia hanno le due entità, anche perché abbiamo avuto animali a radiocollare in contesti ecologici molto diversi, perciò credo che ci vorrebbe un N esagerato per diciamo, descrivere o misurare queste differenze, insomma.
Io posso aggiungere che di quel primo lupo che avete visto, ibrido 1975, catturammo 4 su 6 cuccioli messi radiocollari seguiti per un anno, a differenza con i lupi del momento, dell'ecologia del momento, era 0, uguale ai lupi. Avendo detto questo, devo chiudere la discussione, è tempo di un break per il pranzo, ci rivediamo qui alle 2:30 con altre 5 presentazioni su altri 5 argomenti molto caldi della gestione del lupo.